Alright guys, here it is. It's finally happened. We finally got it here. This is the Go Mango 2018 Demon. Look at that. Now, I do want to talk about this car, obviously, but this car is sold. I actually talked to the owner for a little while earlier today. For that reason, I'm not going to be going in the car. I'm not going to be doing a ton of hands-on with the car. I'm essentially going to be just talking about the car, show you some cool little details, and go from there. But the first thing I actually want to show you, which is kind of humorous, I think, is this right here. So basically what this is, it's an ordering form that you have to initial in order to get this car. And I want to point out one thing on it that I find absolutely hilarious, and that's the first clause here. Customers shall have full responsibility and shall assume all risks related to the use of the features and applications in the vehicle and shall only use the features and applications when it is safe to do so. Failure to do so may result in an accident involving serious injury or death. So the first thing you have to sign off on this car is basically saying that it's going to try to kill you. So something with this much power, something that crazy, can get out of hand quick, and I think it's funny that they make you sign off on that. So again, I just want to talk about a couple quick features. Of course, being the Demon, you have a different hood than the Hellcat. You actually have two hollowed out ports to the lights, one on each side instead of just one on the Hellcat. You have these specific wheels, and if you look, these aren't 20s. They actually have a little bit smaller wheels so that they can fit the drag radials. And these are actually from Nitto, that they make specifically for the Demon. They're, again, drag radials, barely street legal. So you can see here there is a Demon logo on the tires made specifically for this car, and if you want a new set, you actually have to show proof of ownership. You do have the wide body, which you can get the Challenger Hellcat wide body now, which has a similar body kit, but not quite the Demon. Go back here, back tires. Again, this thing is just absolutely incredible. I'm so excited that we finally got it. A couple cool things about this car. I mean, everyone knows the power specs, 808 horsepower, or on 100 octane, it's 840 horsepower. Fastest quarter-mile car in the world at 9.65 seconds, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. And a lot of that is in the technology, which, of course, when you think brute force muscle car, technology isn't the first thing that comes to mind. But what Chrysler did with this car, which is absolutely brilliant, is if you look, you can see that the rear end is up a little bit. You can see how the gap there from the top of the tire to the wheel well, and that's because what they did was, because this is a heavy car, they used the weight of the car for launch. So basically, when the car takes off, all the G-forces from the car moves towards the back of it, which gives you insane grip. And with these tires, with the weight of the car all landing on the rear tire and the grip that it has, you can actually lift the front wheels off the ground. Which, of course, if you've been following this car, you already know that. But this is the first and only production car that can do a certified wheelie of 2.92 feet, which is absolutely incredible. A couple other cool features that you don't normally see. It's like the little stuff that Dodge did. So on the corner of the window here, you see a little Challenger doing a burnout. Of course, as you can see, that's on the window trim there, which is, again, that's really cool. You got Demon logos on the seats. But all in all, if you weren't a car person and you was just kind of glancing at the car, you wouldn't really think that much of it. It is kind of a sleeper, if you will. I mean, granted, it's got a pretty aggressive body kit on it, but other than an RT Challenger, you might not think too much of it without knowing the badging and things like that. A couple other things this car has, again, if you're not aware, it has the first ever system where it takes the cold air from the AC, from the air conditioner, and actually pumps it back into the engine. So you have cooler air going into the supercharger. This way you have a cooler charge and thus more power. It has what's called a torque reserve system. And what that is if you've seen any of my videos before, I did a video on the clutch system on the supercharger of the Hellcat. So that if you have manual transmission, you push in the clutch, it actually disengages the supercharger from the engine. This car does not have that because it's automatic only. So what that also does is inside the supercharger you have a bypass valve for the boosted air, which when you put it in torque reserve, that bypass valve closes and it stays closed. So the boosted air, you can actually pre-fill the supercharger so you can launch at about 8 psi of boost, which of course there's no other car in the world that does that. And if you do that in accumulation with the trans brake, which again, if you don't know, this car does have first ever manufactured car with the trans brake. What that does is it essentially locks the transmission into 2 gears. So between each gear you have 3 clutches. So it locks first gear with 3 clutches, and then it takes 1 clutch and it locks second gear, which for a lot of you drag racers out there, you're gonna say, well, I thought they usually use first and reverse, which you're right, they do, but on this car, for safety reasons, they use first and second gear. So in the unlikely scenario that something were to happen, the car's only going forward instead of launching backwards. But once you use the trans brake with the torque reserve system, that gives you the 0 to 60 time of 2.3 seconds and gives you the full launch to pull the front wheels off the ground, which I cannot say that enough. The car does a wheelie. I mean, come on, that is so cool. But again, I wish I could get a little bit more in depth. I do have a video of when I was walking around the car earlier with the owner. I fired it up. I didn't talk much about it. Somebody else actually shot the video, but you can hear it fired up inside this building. So I'll put a little clip of that at the end of this video. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the car, some nice little tech features that I'm famous for, I guess you could say at this point. And of course, I usually go into the heritage, but if you've seen any of my videos before, I actually did do a video on a Demon, one of the original Demons, so you can see that as well. If you have any questions about this car, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Or if there's something else you might like to see, the owner will be back tomorrow to pick it up, so I might be able to get a little bit of the interior. I can't promise that, but I will try. Yes, that's pretty much the gist of it. Stay tuned, and just momentarily I'll post the video of this car firing up in this room. Yeah, that should be everything. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and share. And I'll be back with some more here in a couple weeks. I'll have another really cool vehicle for you. I'll give you a hint. It's a Jeep, and that's all I'm going to say for right now. But it should be here shortly, and you'll be seeing me do a video on that. Thank you very much.
There we go.
You take a video?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it's fine. You got the keys on you? Or are they here?
This thing's sweet.